Gina, sorry, Gina. Gina, sorry for tonight. She said, okay, shut up, Bryan. Sorry for tonight, Gina. I'm sorry. Shut up, Bryan. She said, this is the worst night of my life. I said, for me too. She said, what did you say? I said, nothing. And then we heard a voice. We heard a sound, which was familiar for both of us. It was like this. Oh, Jimmy, oh. There was a big dog. I saw the biggest dog of my life. I can almost call it a double dog, you know. It was very big, standing still in the dead of the night, ready to kill us. And at that moment, I thought of saying, Gina, can we pause it? Why can't we pause life? You know, when we are in a very terrible situation, why can't we pause it? Imagine someone's cheating on his wife and his wife catches him, and before making that stupid sentence, I can explain everything, you pause it and you find a better solution, and then you turn back to your body, turn back to time. Maybe he can say, okay, there's no one here, darling, just close your eyes, please. No one here, it's an hallucination because of your pills, because of your illness. Okay, close your eyes. No, I won't. Close your eyes, Dorothy. My honey, I love you. Close your eyes. 1, 2, 3. Open them. See? It was an hallucination. There's nobody here. It's because of your pills, because of the drugs you take. But no, we cannot stop time, actually. And so the dog was there. So she said, I'm very afraid. What can we do? I said, we can pick some little stones from the road to defend ourselves. And we start walking like this with our stones on the road. And then the dogs kept following us. And then we saw a village house. I knocked on the door. A village lady opened the door and she said, no, I cannot take you in. My husband did not come from work and he's very jealous. He can't take this wrong. I said, oh God, what kind of night is this? So then her husband came. He said, what's going on here? And I explained him everything. And we took his truck, and with his truck we went to rescue our car. And as we were approaching to our car, the silhouette was getting bigger and bigger. We were getting closer and closer, the silhouette was getting bigger and bigger. A man with a big mustache was doing this. Well done, Bryan. Well done. Yes, that silhouette was my father. I just got out of the truck and I said, Okay, Father, you are right, you are absolutely right. Whatever you say is right. You are right. We will talk this at home. Please don't say anything now. You are right. I just took the rope. Okay, I tied it. I was working too hard, you know. I tied it. Pull the car. Okay, they pulled the car and we rescued our car. And then we went to Gina's home. And Gina's father, just to say sorry. You know, I was expecting something like, from her father, something like, what have you done to my daughter? What have you done to my daughter? But no, he was a kind of with an understanding face. His face was telling me, alright, Bryan, take it easy. I know my girl, my daughter has done this kind of shit to us many times before. It's just like a curse from God to us. It's not your fault. Take it easy. He said, okay. I was very surprised, you know. And then we went home and my sister was sleeping and my mother was crying, and it was the worst going out with a girl experience of my life. But I forgot to tell you something. When the dog was there and we saw the dog, I remember the moment, the romance we lived in the car. And to catch that romance, I started to sing a song for Gina. I said, I've been alone with you inside my mind. And we started dancing. In your dreams I kiss your lips. And the stars were shining. And the dogs were barking. And the road was shaking. And I said, hello, is it me you're looking for? She said, no way, you're not what I'm looking for. And you can only kiss my lips in your dreams. I said, okay. And after that, after this beautiful night happened, you know, my father sent me to Africa for a punishment vacation. Now I want you to feel Africa with a little bit music, maybe with little bit tempo. Ooh na na ne, you na na. Ooh na na ne, you na na. Walla walla lay, walla walla lay, walla walla lay, walla walla lay. Ooh na na ne, you na na. Ooh na na ne, you na na. Walla walla lay, walla walla lay, walla walla lay, walla walla lay. Africa, Africa. The first thing I saw about Africa, I can tell you, the flies. You know, millions and millions of flies. When I saw them, at first I thought to myself, other flies from other countries go vacation in Africa. And they were very cool kind of flies. You know, when you shake your hand, they never fly off your table. They just hold on your table just like this. They stand there. Feel, Bryan, just feel. Eat better things next time. Just like this. And I saw the biggest auto-shaped flies in my life. How many times do you see a fly doing a run like this before it takes off? Flap, 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 and then take off. Biggest auto-shaped flies. The second thing, of course, I saw there girls. Beautiful and beautiful girls. I saw them as a whole pack of Halle Berrys, whole pack of Shakira's, Beyonce's, Jennifer Lopez's. But at first, I didn't know how to reach them, how to get them. I was just yelling at them, changing my voice a little bit, you know. Booty, booty. But no, you gotta be careful though. There's AIDS there, but a different type of AIDS, instant AIDS. No symptoms, you just get it right on the spot. You know you're running into an African girl, oh, that's great. What? Yeah, that's am I losing weight? Am I losing weight? She said, are you alright? I'm alright. I know. Ooh, na. You na. That's just alcohol. Instant AIDS, you gotta be careful. And the other thing is music, you know. There are no musicians by heart. They just play whatever they feel. No synthesizers, no sound effects, no drum machines. Just very simple. They play whatever they feel. Boom, tam, boom, tam, they just play whatever they feel. And the music is everywhere. In the discos and on the clubs. One time I remember I was in a club and the music was going like this. With tempo, I think it will be better. Let's go all together. Or I was in a club. And girls got in a circle. When I saw the girls in a circle, I thought to myself, they were getting in a fight. But about music, you know, they always at 12:15, they turn it down. At what? At 12:15, they shut it down. They cut all the music. They broke it down. And the music started. They got in a circle. I thought they were getting in a fight. But no, they were getting started for dance called kuduru. So the girls started dancing and they started stopping each other's bars. They said, hey Bryan, why don't you join us? I said, I'm coming. At 12:15, they broke it down. They open all the lights, and all the girls go their separate ways. And then I start singing by myself again. Yes, Africa, ladies and gentlemen, Africa. Yeah. Now I will drink a cup of water. It's a part of the show, you know. It's 15 seconds break. Today, I had some embarrassing experiences on the elevator today, coming down here. You know, I got on the elevator, and there were other people in the elevator, so I did not move to the front of the elevator, but the door didn't open right away, and I was waiting like this. Come on, open up, open up. Open up. Oh, this looks really bad. This looks very bad. God, please open up, open up. You don't know what to do. You think like, I made a commitment already and I cannot step back now. You look foolish. You know, I always get embarrassed in elevators. I always expect to get out on the lobby and I always get out too quick. You know, the doors open. Ding dong. I said, hey, hey, hey. And I look and I understand that it is not my floor, but I act like this is what I wanted. This is where I wanted to be. Yeah, this is where I wanted to be. And the people know that you screwed up. They said, sure you don't want to get back on? No, 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 this is what I wanted. I need a toll bill. I need a toll bill. And I'm going to check the price. Just go away people, go. Yeah, why are they like this? I don't know. Now I'm gonna tell you some funny stories about my friends during the past years which I lived. When I was at university, I had two friends called Jane and Paul. And one day, I was an eyewitness of a strange kind of situation. I saw them, they were having a quarrel in the car, they were fighting. And in the end of the fight, Jane took her ring out of her finger, and she said, she put it on Paul's car, she said, it's over! It's over. And then Paul ran after her. So the ring was looking at me, and I was looking at the ring was saying, take me, take me, take me, why don't you take me, take me, take me. So I took the ring to give them when they needed to give them back, you know. And then 3 or 4 days later, I saw Jane in the school canteen, and I rushed to Jane. Hey Jane, I said, I have a good news for you. You remember that day I was the eyewitness, and so I have your ring. I will give it back to you, don't worry. And she said, oh really? Now we are going out again with Paul and we are planning to marry. And that ring has a very big moral value for each of us. Oh, that's good. So I said, in 1 hour time I'll bring it back to you. I went home, I opened my bag, I looked and the ring wasn't there. The ring wasn't there. So I searched all the house, all the city. The ring wasn't there. So I couldn't go to school back, you know, for 4 days, 5 days. And then we went to Paul's. We went to Paul's home. And we went to the jewelry shop where they bought it. And he bought it for her with Paul. If someone doesn't want to believe in something, you cannot make him believe easily. I had a friend called George, and George didn't believe in UFOs. And so I wanted to make George believe in UFOs, because I had some friends from them. So I took George to a special mountain which I know, and I saw in the spaceship. Hey George, I said, what's this? He said, it's a meteorological balloon. And I said, okay. I waved my hand, and the ship landed down with sparkling green and red lights. And I said, hey George, what do you say now? He said, it's a hallucination. Alright, I said. I took George into the ship and we flew to their planet. And he saw those guys with 2 heads, 3 legs. And I said, what do you say now? And he said, I am dreaming. I said, alright George, I cannot make you believe. I'll never make you believe easily. And I had a friend called Thomas, and I can call Thomas as a technological maniac. One time I caught him, he was kissing his PC. He was always sleeping with his laptop. And he told me one time he married with his PC in his dream. And then all the relatives of his new wife moved to their house. And then they got divorced because he couldn't pay all the electricity bill. One time I was playing chess with my computer and Thomas was at home together with me. And that day I was very lucky. I beat my computer on chess. And Thomas was very upset. He said, "Oh, this is old technology. This is old computer. You cannot beat mine." So we went to Thomas's home. And I beat his computer too. So what happened? He opened his window and he threw his computer out of his window and he said, "You don't deserve me. A human being has beaten you. A human being has beaten you." At that moment, I thought to myself, can Thomas be an android? Maybe. I remember one night I was at Istanbul. I had a friend called David. So that night, I had to stay in David's home because it was raining very heavily. No, because I didn't have money to stay in a hotel. That night, I had to stay in David's home. But the problem was this. David only had one big bed. So that night we had to sleep together with David in that bed. So when sleeping time came, David turned left, I turned right. He said, "Good night, Bryan." I said, "Good night, David." And in my dream, I saw my girlfriend. She had a short hair in my dream. Normally she has long hair. And I was kissing my girlfriend very deeply in my dream. And when I was kissing her, and I just woke up with shouting voice of David. He said, "Bryan, Bryan, what are you doing, Bryan? You're kissing me, Bryan. You're kissing me, Bryan." And I woke up like this, with David's face was like this. I was really kissing her. David, okay, I'm sorry for what I've done. I'm sorry, my friend, okay? But you are very lucky, because I was just only kissing my girlfriend in my dream. You are very lucky. And after that night, he left his girlfriend, and chose another type of lifestyle, I don't know. Because of magic, maybe, I don't know. So we spoke about a lot of different things, many things. But what about sex? Now I will ask each of you how often you have it and some special questions about it. Alright? Just joking, okay. Alright, these are the things not to say during sex. Not to say during sex. You might think about saying these things, but you always want to refrain from them. One of them is just like this. It looks funny naked, isn't it? Or, now, do you accept visa? Don't say during sex. Or, I was trying to pick up your friend. If you're a woman, try not to spare my makeup, will you? Woman, listen to this. I want a baby. Don't say during sex. Or, did I mention my transsexual operation? Or, oh, what a baby! You are good enough to do this for a living. Alright. How long do you plan to be almost there? Alright, this is the last one. Did I tell you my Aunt Martha died in this bed? That was my favorite. Alright, so many years ago I was a musician, and now I want to tell you a musician story. I had a friend called Ramsey, and Ramsey was a gypsy violin player, and that night he had to go to a city called Adana in Turkey to play in a wedding. But really, that night, that day, it was raining very, very heavily. We said, "Ramsey, you better not go, my friend. You'd get ill, you'd get sick in this weather." He said, No, my friend, I was playing. I was for money." Ramsey, please don't go. "Play for money, man. So he got on the street, hitchhiking. He was hitchhiking that day, auto-stopping, and no car passed, for half an hour. But after half an hour, a funeral car stopped and took him. So he thanked the driver, and he saw the coffin. Coffin, the wooden box where they put dead people in it. So he said, "Can I sleep there?" driver said, okay, you can sleep. Is there anybody there? No, it's empty. He got into the coffin and started to sleep. And that day, the driver took many people into the car, which they hitchhiking, many people, because it was raining very heavily. So, at those times, Adana's roads were very rocky, very rocky. When they reached Adana, Ramsey in the coffin was like this. And then he opened his eyes, he understood they reached Adana, and he opened the coffin, and he said, did we come to Adana? Did we come to Adana? And people were very scared. And one of them had a heart attack, 2 people jumped out of the car, injured very bad. They thought the dead people became alive like a zombie, you know. And now, as I told you, I was a musician sometime before. Now I will tell you a story which I had in a restaurant. You know, normally in a normal job, you have one boss, right? You always one boss. But in that restaurant I played, I had 2 bosses. And they were always making requests from me. Always wanting songs. And I had to play all of them just to keep the job, you know. I remember one day, one of them was saying, hey Bryan,